Hello, my darlings. A little bit of a different vlog today. I um I wrote this blog yesterday, and I don't write blogs that often, and often they're kind of just a method for me to sort of I guess I don't really journal anymore. So and I used to be a big journaler. Like, in terms of by big journaler, I mean I kept a journal from the age of 15 until maybe even just, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. A couple of years ago is when I sort of stopped needing to use that as a tool to, what will I say, alchemize my thinking. Normally journaling is like this process where I just vomit out onto the page, like everything that I'm feeling, the pain, the thoughts that I can't quite process just in my mind alone. And then through the process of actually writing it out is where I create the alchemy and find the glass half unicorn full, on the other side. And so I'm not really a journaler anymore. And I think that my writing, the writing that I do, the book that I've been working on, the chapter that's about to be published in the book that's coming out in a week, um, and the blog. These are all just like methods for me to, I guess, express my truth, my I was going to say my world, but maybe I should say the world through my lens, through my eyes, through my essence, through my experience of being a human. And so I wrote this blog yesterday because I woke up yesterday, and I wrote it straight away in the morning when I woke up, because I woke up with these emotions of both comparison and doubt. And I had an interesting kind of moment the day before where I noticed that because I've started posting, and doing things on socials quite significantly over the last month, I've noticed that my energy, will randomly, at random times, like I might just be in my peace, just with nature, or just like enjoying a beautiful meal, or just whatever it is, doing my thing. And then I'll remember, oh, that's right. Like, I posted, like maybe I should check, maybe I should see, like, did anybody respond? Do I need to do anything? And so it's like this, I think that's been part of my bittersweet relationship with socials, is that when I do go through the clarity that's coming up for me is that, and it's coming up in a new way, and this clarity is that when I do post, I then, that then takes up like a little peripheral space in my brain of, how did it go? What do people think? Do they like it? Do they like me? Da-da-da-da. And it's so interesting because I genuinely post when I feel called to post. I feel like deep in my bones, especially the way that I've been posting this month. Quite a lot of different ideas, and just me sharing my truth as I am, not trying to pretend that I'm anything. And finally, I think I'm letting go of this need to turn up as this, I don't know, spiritual thinker, spiritual thinking leader, some type of perfect mentor who has all of her, stuff together. Um, I I think that that's what used to silence me, was always this, I would see the way that these authors or spiritual leaders would turn up, and I was like, well, I don't look like that, I don't have that level of success. I don't have that level of accomplishment. So maybe I need to keep pushing to get, my shit together, in order to be credible, be someone, worthy of being heard, worthy of being witnessed. somebody who has something of value to share or to say that people might find helpful, supportive, insightful, all those things. And I think what is finally, after so many decades, oh my God, finally landing for me is that I'm not that. And I don't even know if I want to be that. What? All this time of, just subtly making myself wrong, subtly kind of assuming that, oh, there was a piece of me that still hadn't sorted some sufficient thing out because I didn't have the appropriate level of lined up, sexy looking things that made me look like a professional leader or like the kind of person that looked like they had reaped all the rewards and therefore proven themselves worthy of being heard. What an absolute crock of shit. Like, no. I just say no to that now. It's really not who I am now. And now all that I want is I just want to be myself in every given moment as I turn up as a human being. And I think like the relief, the sweet relief is that who I now am as a human being is not someone that wants to roll around whining in poor me, victim me, why me, it's not fair energy. I have zero interest in bringing that kind of just the line that comes is tomfoolery. I had a little NDIS client who was doing a British accent the other day. It was so fun. And he's like, "What's that tomfoolery, Aaila?" Anyway, that wasn't British, but anyway, he was very funny. I really enjoyed the word tomfoolery. I'm bringing it in. Thank you, little client. Um, but yeah, I'm truly not interested in any force, be that internal or external, that needs me to present as a shiny, perfect diamond because I'm not. I'm not a shiny, perfect diamond. I'm a human being. I make mistakes and I have my human moments of managing pain, of managing triggers, of self-doubt, of comparison, of, the human things. But what is different, what has significantly changed is that they never last. They never last anymore. Those thoughts, those feelings, they come in to remind me, not enlightened, not Buddha, still a human. And the message that Spirit keeps telling me, because I'm kind of a bit shitty, to be honest. Like, all right, this is going to be a little bit embarrassing. I'm a little bit shitty that I'm not enlightened. I would love to be enlightened. That would be top dog. I would love that. But I'm not. I still have moments for sure. I have days, I definitely have like chunks of days, like blocks of days where I feel pain. I feel emotions that are difficult and I feel them, and I have to face them like every other human. But what spirit is telling me, what my intuition is telling me is that I'm not meant to be that I'm meant to present to the world as a normal human being who has her moments, but faces them head on and moves through them and then comes out the other side, back to peace, back to joy, back to a loving heart. That I don't carry those around like that, like Robert De Niro in The Mission. For those of you who are old school enough to have watched that film, you know what I'm talking about. He carries this big ass thing, like full of metal as like his personal penance. He was like a badass, like he actually killed people, like he did bad things, and as his penance, like he decides to carry this thing up this massive waterfall hill. And his mentor, Jeremy Irons, cuts it off and says, enough, like enough, with the self-punishment, with the penance, you've done your penance, like move on and live your life. We believe you, we believe you're sorry, like move on, enough. And I kind of feel that kind of vibe for myself of like, enough with the trying to be something, trying to prove something. And all I want to do now, more than anything else, is just to be myself and to turn up as that imperfect self and to love myself along that journey and to share that, to share the experience of that, because I think that's just the experience of being a human, right? We're all having this human experience. We've picked a life, we're living it. It's probably got some super hairy and hectic parts for you, like mine or sweet mother, heavy stuff in there. And that's how we learn and we move through. And we're on this journey to remember our divinity, to remember, certainly that's what it feels like for me. I'm on this journey to remember the vastness of my soul, the beauty of my soul, the magnificence of my soul, the kindness, the loving essence of who I am beneath those moments of shadow, those moments of my past, those moments when I used to hate on myself permanently, permanently as a way of life. Oh my gosh, the amount of self-loathing that I used to bathe myself in was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. And yeah, makes me doesn't fully make me teary. I feel a little bit teary, like in a nostalgic way at the memory of that version of me. Like I feel compassion, for that version of me who used to hate on herself so much and far out. That was just how I lived. That was just how I existed. Until I started letting go of people who couldn't love me authentically, who couldn't love me as I was, and therefore I couldn't love me as I was. And as I started releasing those people, or they released me, because maybe I never would have released them, to be quite honest. Like some people I may never have had the courage to release, God help me. But anyway, these people are no longer in my life. And, and, and actually, what a blessing to no longer feel that judgment in my field so that I can just love upon myself like the kind, loving energy that I want to have for myself. It's like that reparenting energy that they talk about for those of us who've been through pretty significant trauma, where all you know is that you were parented in ways that weren't necessarily kind, they weren't loving, they weren't unconditional. And it's our job to like retrain ourselves. It's certainly my job. It's been a lifelong job to retrain myself in self-love. And it was really interesting after I um, wrote that blog post and posted it. It was like so soon after, like within an hour, like, I don't know, I posted that in the morning, maybe at like 8 or 9 a.m. It was like before lunchtime. But I was totally fine, back in my joy, back in my peace. And I was like, dude, lucky I wrote that in the moment. And I think that's why for me, sharing on socials, I've watched all the things of like, you're meant to like strategize and plan and schedule. And I can't do that because it just doesn't feel right for me. Like I like posting in the moment. Like when I post, it's what's happening in that moment. It's what feels real. It's what feels true. I press post and it feels authentic and it feels like it matches my vibration in that moment. And that is what feels right for me. I'm not saying that's right for everybody else. I'm just saying that is what I need to be doing. That is what I get a yes to. And so I'd returned back to this joy. But what's really nice is that I don't then feel the need like, oh, I should like remove that post, remove that blog because I don't feel that way anymore. I'm like, no, that was really true 2 hours ago. It's not my experience in this moment, but damn, it was true a couple of hours ago. And yeah, coming full circle around to this point, back around what happens when I start sharing on socials, is that there's this part of my periphery that then is now aware that I have now put a little thread of my energy out into the field of the world. And then that thread starts wondering like, well, what's coming back, what's being received, what's being returned. And what spirit is telling me into my field is that I just need to not worry about any of that at all. That I need to not check. I need to treat it like I got to a point where I only checked Facebook I should say, gotten to a point where I only check Facebook when I go to post, and whatever one or two posts are on my feed at the top, they're the ones that I look at, and otherwise I don't scroll. And Spirit's basically saying to me that that's the energy that I need to have with my sharing, that I only really look at the results when I go back to share again, because it's there, and that's okay to have a look at it then, but not to have that be a distraction from my experience of being alive, from how I interact with the world, because actually what brings me the most joy is the fact that I don't have a lot to do with socials, that I don't spend much time wondering or worrying what people are doing or how people are responding to me, and that if I begin to do that, then that will actually change my energy and my frequency and make me less interesting, to the world. Because I feel that what actually is my greatest strength is the fact that I am in a very near to constant communion with Spirit, and that is the being that I commune with the most, the energy, the frequency that I commune with the most is like, great source, great spirit, and all the different like guides, beings, all my posse crew that are in my field, constantly guiding and supporting me on a, blow by blow basis, moment by moment basis. And I think it's a learning process, and I think it's a really important one for me to learn. And I kind of feel like it's the only way that I could thrive online, because I have such a deep desire to share. Like, I feel that I am meant to be speaking and sharing from this place of not pretending, not hiding, not trying, just this is my truth. This is how I'm actually feeling in this moment. And if you like it, stay, hear more. If you don't like it, no problema. Like, ciao, ciao. Go find someone else you like. I don't want to force anyone to do anything. I just want to anchor my energy and my light into the world in moments that I feel called to do so. And yeah, I actually think that's it. I think that's all I've got to say today. I I send you so much love. If this resonates for you, then I hope that you are finding your way to do what is like really deeply true for you, to love upon yourself, to honor yourself, to respect yourself, and to be a stand, for the just friggin' gorgeous creature that you are, to be the greatest stand for yourself. That's what I'm hoping for you. And I'm a stand for you, and I am shining my whole friggin' heart upon you, that you find the courage to just, keep being you. It's a bit clunky. I'm doing my best. Let's just do our best together, hey? Yeah. And if you like my vibe and you want to keep hanging out with me in these vlogs, I would love for you to subscribe, like the vlog, stay connected, and yeah, until next time. Mwah. All my love. Bye, beauty.